Welcome back to Area Diesel Service. Today we have a new and interesting collaborative effort with fellow YouTube content creator, Moline Dan.
You twins?
No, we are not relations.
If you're not familiar with Moline Dan's channel, we'll drop you a link below. Please go over there and check him out and tell him that we sent you. Moline Dan is the internet's foremost YouTube authority on Minneapolis Moline specs, history, data, and all sorts of other Minneapolis Moline, and not just Minneapolis Moline. You do dabble in some other flavors.
Oh, absolutely. Help my dad work on anything my dad's, or I've had friends that send over Fords, and I've worked on Al's Chalmers, and I got a Massey Ferguson coming in sometime. I got to do a clutch. So
Dan, as you can see, is one of the founding fathers of the Shmoo Fighters group, and as you can see with this pump, it's no exception. This pump is a little bit special to Dan, and we're going to ask him to tell us, what do you got here?
Well, this injection pump is off a G900 diesel 1968 model that my grandfather bought when it was 2 years old, so right around 1970, 71. This tractor had about 10 to 12,000 hours on. They figured the tach quit working and was overhauled by my grandfather, and this was either done before I was born or very little, so I don't remember it being done. So it's been in the family a very long time. I've owned it for 20 years. My grandfather actually gave me this tractor way before he passed on. He's been gone about 10 years already, but in homage of him, this tractor is going to get gone right through except for the motor, because it's, like I said, we figured it's got less than 300 hours on the overhaul. But this pump was working, but it just wore and leaks, and it just needs gone through, and I want it to fix all the leaks I can. But pay homage to him. It's gonna be pretty. I want this thing museum quality, as good as I can do, and this is a very special tractor. And like I tell people, every collection has $1 million tractor. This tractor here, you could offer me $1 million, and it's going to stay right where it's at.
Not for sale.
Not for sale.
Can't be bought.
Nope. So very, very proud. Very, very proud to do this project.
So, as you guys know, we like to give you a little bit of the backstory, right? It's a kind of boring thing to just watch some dude rebuild a pump, but it makes it a little bit more interesting whenever we add the layer of story from our collaborative partners. And this one, I think, is probably the most intriguing one yet, right? This one has an absolute sentimental value. You can tell that Dan is going to pay homage to his grandfather through his abilities to restore this machine. So Area Diesel Service is going to consider themselves privileged to be able to help out in this regard. And we're going to give this thing the full service. You've seen it before, but we're going to clean it up, tear it down, inspect it, rebuild it, calibrate it, paint it, perhaps. Sounds like he's doing a
it's going to get a new paint job.
White glove inspection.
Yeah.
We may not have the proper paint code, so I don't know if we'll paint it or not. But
you can paint it, either paint it white or yellow, and I can touch it up.
We'll get you a base coat on it.
There you go. Keep it from rusting. Yeah.
Cover it in the good stuff. So.
Yep. Absolutely. It's getting all new hoses and gaskets and this and that, and it's going to be an expensive time process, but it's been on my list to do forever, and I'm finally getting at it. So.
Well, I can tell that you're passionate about it, and I don't think 1 second of it'll feel like work. I can tell already.
And one nice thing that I'll be working on this tractor, but my boys will be out there helping me, and my father will be there helping me, and I know if I asked my brother to come over, he'd help for a little while too. So.
Yeah, and then maybe there's some day that the grandkids, it'll rust up again, and they'll pull it out and get it going in honor of you. So.
Yep.
Circle of life. It's kind of cool. This old equipment just does not die. It does not rust out, and we just keep on repairing it and fixing it. So, neat story. So we will kick it back to the fuel shop, let them run the gamut. Like I said, if you're not familiar with Moline Dan, please jump over there, drop him a comment, give him a subscription. Super good dude and high quality content coming off of his channel over there. Anything to add?
Oh, I appreciate your help.
Yep.
So you guys did an awesome job on the last ones, and that's why I'm here. And I'm glad it worked out that I could actually bring it here.
Yeah, it's always good to meet them in person.
Absolutely.
So. Cool.
Appreciate your
Thanks
help.
for coming.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, Corey here. I got this pump here, DBG pump from Moline Dan. As you can see, this pump is off of a Minneapolis Moline. The color is indicative of that, being the yellow. Also, he was in here and kind of talked to him for a minute, and basically he told me that it's just as easy to repair the engine going from whatever the G900 950 whatever engine it has in it to upgrade it to basically the G1000 or G1050 engine. So I guess that's kind of what he's doing a little bit of what I would say an upgrade, but overall the pump isn't going to change too much. I believe the fuel specs will probably be a little bit higher, but nothing crazy there. I'm also going to do a little bit of changes to his pump here. As you can see, it's dirty. Part of that is because the shaft was leaking. There's a couple other issues with the shaft. For one thing, this lever here, it's loose, so I'll just have to tighten that down. It's no big deal. But this lever is super loose inside the shaft. So that means that O-ring on there is probably shrunk so much that that's where it was leaking from. Also, I don't know if you'll be able to see the in and out, the amount of basically in play that this shaft has. So that can also contribute to leaking. But nothing that I haven't seen before. One thing that I'm going to change is, so this particular pump has this side cover with this hose going to the inlet. It's an older style setup. Generally, they're more found on like international pumps. So it's kind of interesting that it's on this Minneapolis pump. Regardless, I'm going to get rid of all this, and then like for this fitting, I'm just going to plug this off so that way his height stays the same for his inlet hose, so that way he won't have to change too much there. But the biggest difference here is it's not a flat plate. So most of the time there is a check ball in here with a little screen, and this fitting here, which would normally be the check ball fitting, just has a wire, like an orifice wire, I guess you could say. So it's a little different than normal setup, but like I said, I'm going to get rid of this hose, going to get rid of this cover and change it to just a normal solid side cover, and then I'll put a regular check ball fitting in here, so that way it'll just help kind of bring it into the new day age of doing these things. It'll still basically function the same. It's just then you don't have to worry about this hose leaking. I mean, this thing here has been ripped, and it's just old school. He originally brought it in with his mounting plate and drive shaft and gear, which we told him he could keep all that. So he took that back with him. I'm going to cap everything off. I'm going to peel the name tag off of it. And then I will go clean it up and blast it. And then we will start tearing this thing apart. This old hose off this pipe barb. Just gotta cut this. Actually, won't worry about that. His pipe fitting here, I'll either plug it off or I'll have the machine shop weld that up. I haven't quite decided yet. Depends on how busy they are. But like I said, normally I just plug those off. We'll see what's underneath here. Whenever we took the shaft out, it didn't look too terrible inside the pump, but it definitely was not necessarily completely clean. Okay, so you can see here, the check ball is right there instead of being in here. And then the rubber gasket has a screen right here. So it's kind of different. I don't think I've ever done one of these on camera before, so that's kind of basically what it would look like, you know, inside the pump. But like I said, I'm just going to get rid of all this. I don't actually know if I could order a new one of these. They've probably been obsoleted so long ago that you can't get them. See if I can find a side cover in here. That'll work. Yep. We don't worry about putting a gasket on there for right now. It'll be good enough for what I'm doing. Okay, so that looks good. Ditch that. Okay, well, I think that's gonna be good enough. Let me clip these wires off. Pretty bad whenever the wires are almost completely rusted off too. Now I think we're good enough. So I'll get this washed off and blast all the paint off, and then we'll start diving into it. And voila, nice and clean. Well, mostly clean. So, peel these caps off. Right now it's towards the end of the day, so I'm trying to get this tore down so I can maybe sit in the sonic cleaner overnight, get it nice and clean for in the morning. Be a little bit proactive on my time here. There we go. I marked down these fittings so I don't have to worry about that. Marked down color and lever position. So we're just gonna get after it here. Get this out so I can show you guys what I was talking about. So instead of a check ball, you can see there's a wire in here, and that basically, it kind of helps regulate pressure, but the check ball is more for regulating pressure. That's just like a bleed off. So it's a lot like a vent wire on a DB4 pump or a DB2. Same concept, just different design. But I'm going to get rid of it. Not too crusty. This is a low idle screw. Of course, it won't just come out easy. Some of these housings, like this one, it's too tight, so I can't get my socket on that screw. It's just how it is sometimes. Oh yeah. So, I wouldn't really call it dirty by any means, but normally whenever I find a pump like this one where it's really black on the inside, I kind of associate it with like carbon buildup or carbon getting into the fuel. So whether, you know, his shaft seals were a little bad and like some oil was getting in, or sometimes what'll happen is a injector tip will stick open whenever you're going through your compression power phases through the engine. It'll actually force the carbon up through your tip and into your return through your injectors, and which will then get into your fuel, which will then turn everything black. Whether or not any of that is 100% true, I don't really know. That's just kind of a theory from what I've kind of heard. So that's what it seems like to me, because it doesn't look like biodiesel or anything or bad fuel necessarily. It's just really black, but that should clean up pretty good. So luckily that's nothing too concerning, and I believe that he's overhauling the engine or whatever anyway, so you know, it's nothing that bad. It's something that will hopefully be rectified through the rest of his rebuild process. Yeah, see, that O-ring there is toast. Completely flat, hard and brittle. Yep. I'll worry about tightening that up later whenever I go to build it. It does have steel bushings, so that's good. Some of them have brass. This one here, instead of a plastic washer, it has this like fiber washer, so I'm going to get rid of this. I've never really liked those fiber washers. This O-ring here is toast too. I have a feeling that's going to be a common thing across this whole teardown here. torque screw out. Can't really say his torque screw was necessarily doing anything. Doesn't look like it was turned in far enough, which is fine. Some pumps don't necessarily need torque screws. It just kind of comes with the factory. Got your governor spring. This has a really thin spacer, which is kind of unusual, but I have seen them before. Little idle spring here, guide stud. Goes a metering valve, which that's an old style metering valve, and it does have some wear to it, so that's definitely going to get replaced. Side covers here, I can take these off now too. I believe Kurt told me that this particular tractor was either his father's or someone in his family's that he's kind of restoring, so it has some sentimental value to him, which is nice. My grandfather was a farmer as well, so he was definitely a John Deere man. I never really saw anything too unusual on the farm whenever I was growing up. Tractor wise, let's put it that way. Got the pivot shaft. Man, these O-rings are tough. This will just pull out. Okay. Got the advance adjuster right here. This is kind of unusual because it actually has a hex head instead of like an Allen head. You don't really see these too often. I don't know why they made these changes. You know, whether Minneapolis went to them and said, hey, we want something a little different than anyone else. I don't know. Whether one engineer was just feeling frisky and decided to change it. But it serves the same purpose. I mean, see if I can get these fittings out without messing them up. Screen doesn't look terrible. It has some buildup on it right here. This is an old style plug, so that'll definitely get replaced. That just gets pitched. That's his regulating piston and a spring. See if I can get this filter off. It looks like it's going to come off. Yep, that wasn't too bad. Get these O-rings off of here. Pitch that. I'll worry about that after it runs through the sonic cleaner. This one here has a little plastic plug in the bottom here, which is not necessarily that uncommon. They're just more of a pain. I'll probably switch it out with a metal plug because the metal plugs come in the kit. That out. Nothing in there. That O-ring there is toast. Got his liner and blades here. That blade there definitely has some side wear. So those are definitely going to get replaced. The liner definitely has some wear to it. Yep. That's going to get replaced. Let's see if this is going to come out easy or not. Oh yeah, like butter. Just gotta have the right tool for the job. This particular pump is a counterclockwise pump, so everything is shifted around on the other side. So normally the power side would be on this side if it was a clockwise pump, but since it's not, it's on the other side. Spring piston. Oh, that's kind of nasty actually. That's the biggest thing, is that most of the time, if you have rust or biodiesel or whatever, it kind of settles down into the advanced because that's the lowest point. So the top of the pump might not be that bad, but the further you go down inside the pump, it just gets worse and worse. Power piston out. See if I can get this piston ring off without breaking it. Yep, perfect. Get the O-ring out from underneath here. It goes in here. That looks good. Get this plug out. Now I'll try and get that head out. Flat, flat. Okay. And I don't know if I can stick a shaft. Nope. There we go. And his flex ring's broke. No real surprise there. As in, there's basically no flex ring left. Yeah. The weight cage don't look too bad. I mean, it definitely needs replaced. And I don't know if we might put a one-piece weight cage in this. I don't know. I gotta talk to Kurt. All this looks okay. Just needs cleaned. Yep, there ain't a piece of flex ring left. So it's been running for a while like that. His cam is not the best. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. That lobe there is basically shot. Right there on that lobe, you can see my pick catching on it. There's wear on that one, wear on that one. Yeah, so I would say 5 out of the 6 lobes are trashed. So that cam there is getting replaced. Let's see what these rollers look like. Rollers look good. No issue there. Plungers were sticking a little bit. Chaining ring. Or half moon plates here. Rotor came right out, so that's good. Retaining plates, head goes in there. Rotor has some wear to it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on here. All in here. I don't know if you can see them lines or not, but he has somewhere. I think it'll still work, but we won't really know until we run it. The delivery valve out. Stop. That's the spring in the stop. And the delivery valve came out. Delivery valve is worn out. No real surprise there. That's why we replace them dang near every single time. And his pilot tube is very worn out. So that could have been the cause of his of all this carbon buildup. He might have been getting a little bit of oil in the fuel. It might have been seeping past that umbrella seal and going in through the pump like this. But who really knows? So that's basically it. I still got to press that out, but that's no big deal. Definitely had some issues. Issue one was the inside of the pump was black, which indicates other issues going on, potentially with the engine and or with them umbrellas. Issue two was we got no flex ring, which is no real surprise. Issue three was a little bit of contamination he had ate into the cam lobes, which is not uncommon for these pumps. We saw some of that contamination down in the advance area, which, like I said, that's kind of where it settles down into. So overall, and I'd say the last and major issue, which was one of the main ones why he brought it in here, was the fact that it was leaking. That's just because the O-rings were trashed. This pump was definitely past its prime. He got every good year out of it, and probably had a year or two that wasn't so good, but so definitely needed rebuilt for sure, especially if he is rebuilding this whole tractor. We can whip it up into shape pretty easily. I'm hoping that head is going to work. I'm hoping it doesn't give me too much issues on the stand, but won't know till we try it. So I'm going to get this the rest of the way cleaned up. I'm going to throw that in the sonic cleaner. That's it for right now. Next time you guys see it, it'll be ready to be put back together. Okay, everybody, I got everything cleaned up here, got it laid out. Again, replacing his weight cage. Me and Kurt decided to go with a one piece so he doesn't have to worry about his flex ring anymore since it was completely gone. I got everything cleaned up, buffed his fittings, so you know those all look nice. I need to glue my pilot tube in, so we'll just start with that and get that put on the bracket here. Luckily we had everything in stock, so kind of helps that it just had basic wear, nothing too crazy. I normally try and start with the pilot tube just because then it can be drying as I'm doing some of the other things, especially like setting up the head. That all looks good. Got my tool here to know my depth, because these tubes have to go in to a certain dimension. Wipe off some of the excess epoxy. Okay, so we will set this off to the side for now. Now we'll start with the head. I got a brand new delivery valve, 4 on it. Delivery valve spring, a new stop, which just came in the kit. And I got a tool for this. Here we go. I'm really hoping that this head makes it, because like I said, it does have some noticeable wear to it. So hopefully it'll work. Pumping plungers in. Make sure they're completely free, which they were mostly free whenever I tore it apart. They were maybe a little stiff, but nothing too crazy. The rollers and shoes, which I did not replace these. I didn't really feel the need to. Head O-ring while I'm thinking about it. Now we'll check for leaks, and then we'll set our roller to roller. Now we were changing this pump a little bit from going on a G900 or 950 to now a G1000. So I might have to turn up the fuel, which my stop is leaking. So let's see if we can fix this. Hopefully I can just sand this screw down and it'll fix it. Nope. Still leaking. So we might have to grind that seat down. Normally you don't have to, but every once in a while you have to grind that delivery valve stop seat because it leaks. I'll take this apart and see what it looks like. Sometimes you can actually see a nick or something in there. Which, I mean, this one looks pretty decent. Let me try a different stop first. See if that fixes my problem. Hopefully it does, because I'd really rather not grind that stop seat down. But if I got to, I got to. It's just how it is. If this don't fix, I might try a different screw as well. Sometimes that'll fix it. Basically, if I can't get it to, if it leaks, then it can cause it to not make cranking. Because it's basically like a bypass. Still leaks. Okay. Well, one last shot. I'll try a different screw. And if that don't fix it, then I gotta grind that down. It's been a while since I've had one leak like this, and I couldn't just easily fix it. Normally they seal on the first time, so it's kind of unusual that I'm having this problem. Just like that. I don't see any bubbles now. Yep. No bubbles at all. Perfect. I was hoping I was going to fix it. So for some reason that screw, I would assume it's not completely flat or it's at an angle, and that's why it's leaking. So now we will check the rotor roller. So basically this pump was originally a DBG FCC 637 1DH. That's what this pump was originally. So now we're going to a 2DH, which goes on the G1000. So it's quite a bit of difference. So the difference between these two settings is about 10 thousandths on the roller to roller. And it's about 13 cc's. So there is a pretty good difference between the two settings. And even this one here, well, what did I say, 67? Yeah, so this one is right on spec for the original spec. But we have got to turn this up. Hoping I got enough room here on my leaf spring. It's gonna be close. That's 79 and I need 2. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to switch out this leaf spring because I don't think I'm gonna have enough travel. Let's see here. Well, no, that would be... Basically, there's nothing wrong with it being maxed out. It's just the fact of if it's maxed out and I try and I have to adjust it on the stand, then I'm kind of screwed. I'll take it all back apart. But I'm going to risk it. So that's set. Got a different cam ring. like I said, whenever I tore it apart, his cam lobes were bad. Like, I think like 5 out of the 6 were bad. So this is one that we actually had in room stock. Luckily, the cam that came with this pump was a very common cam, so it wasn't that hard for me to find it. Put that on in the correct direction of rotation. That is important. Now, I got his one-piece weight cage. I have not marked this yet, which I need to do. Let me find my timing degree. 356 and a half. This out of the way so I can see. Yeah. So I got my timing wheel here. That hole is lined up with my line. We're gonna go this way till we are at 356 and a half degrees. 356. There's my half. Yeah, I gotta rough that up a little bit. That's better. My pencil wasn't wanting to make a mark on it. It was too smooth. Got my electric pencil here, or electric etcher, whatever you want to call it. Do a little double check here, make sure that I did it correctly. We are spot on, perfect. So now we have our line, which is right here. We can put this on now. Cam's going the right way. Line up our line with our dimple there. Snap ring. Got our O-ring on there. We got our retainer plates here. These just help hold everything together. And we got our retaining ring. Got our governor weights here. Perfect. So again, as this speeds up, these weights open up and it moves this forward, which then moves my governor arm forward, which I've already explained all this before in other videos, so I don't want to bore you guys too much. Our pilot tube is dry enough now to where it at least won't move whenever we're building it. As you can see now, I cleaned up his housing. You know, it's not all black on the inside now. Yeah, that don't look too bad. Yep, I can live with that. We will start with the governor arm, which those forks run against that thrust sleeve, which is inside those weights. Got our pivot shaft here, which is pivot shaft actually has some wear to it, so I'm gonna replace that. Yep, I can live with that one. Our new O-rings. It's like the chamfer is bigger than normal. So I'm gonna replace these just to be safe. I don't want it to leak. I have probably only 1,000 of these things. That's all moving good now. So let me check these holes, make sure that there's nothing stuck in them. That looks fine. A little bit of grease in there. Now we can slide our head in. Okay. Got the head bolts. These just kind of help get everything in line. Stick a drive shaft in there so nothing falls out. I have to replace his metering valve. Maybe you guys can actually see a little bit. It's an old metering valve. It's getting pitched. It's worn out. Has a new metering valve here. Maybe if I get this shim back on here. Didn't think it was gonna be that hard. Metering valve is nice and free. It's not hanging up at all. Put this. Got our head bolt here. Make sure that check ball is free, which it is now. Got our new O-rings. Torque the head bolts in now. Always start with the bottom one. Put in our cam screw. Gotta make sure that bit is in all the way, otherwise it'll slip. Or it'll break that cam screw. It's never a good day whenever you break the cam screw. This is just a bushing that helps keep it supported while I'm torquing it in. Perfect. Got our power piston here with a new O-ring going in the middle of it. All looks good. Got that. Got our piston ring back on there. Back in the cap. Put new O-rings on here. Slide washer. Cam screw is stuck. Now I can put this in. In your power piston, your advanced pistons in general are direction dependent. So since this is a counterclockwise pump, the power piston goes on the left side instead of the right side. That's very important. Grease on these O-rings. That's just kind of like a spring seat. Our advanced spring piston here. All moves freely. Put a little bit of grease there. This just helps hold the slide washer on. It can go in. Got our bottom plug, new O-ring. that down. Now we'll do our transfer pump. This is a brand new liner because his was worn out. These are direction oriented, so this is counterclockwise and this is clockwise. It's also very important, otherwise it won't produce any transfer pressure. Got his little steel wear plate there. I'm gonna put a little bit of calibration fluid in here. Now for our end plate screws. Then I will torque all these down. And hopefully it won't get tight on me. I have to go sand this down a little bit. Yeah, let me go touch this up. Now we'll torque these down. Well, here's a moment of truth. We'll see if it's still nice and free. Oh yeah, like butter. Perfect. So now we'll finish out the transfer pump end. So if you remember, Teardown, it had a rubber plug in there, and we are going to put the steel plug at the end of this regulator. The rubber plug is basically just an old style. So steel plug goes on this tool, then I drive it into the regulator. And now I know that that is at the correct depth, because that has to go in a certain depth. Got a new regulating piston. Slide in there, perfect. Spring. Got my adjuster screw here. This goes in here. I try and halfway preset these things. Okay, that should be close. Got all my new O-rings. I gotta untwist this middle one. Okay, so that's good. Put his screen back on. This is his original screen. I didn't really feel the need to replace it. There's nothing really wrong with his. Cleaned up good. Some grease on the O-rings. And one last check. Yep, piston's nice and free. If that piston hangs up, it creates problems. It builds excess transfer pressure, or doesn't build enough, and just one of those things you want to make sure that's correct. Now we got our governor spring, ball idle spring, spacer. We'll put this in. It's also a really soft governor spring, so that's kind of a little unusual. Means it probably doesn't, it's probably not a very high RPM pump, would be my guess. Got that in. Put this back. We will put our torque screw in now. Peel out the old O-ring and then put the new one on. I do remember whenever I tore this apart that I don't believe that this torque screw was really doing anything. Put one of my side covers on. I'm about done putting parts on. Side plug on. Got a throttle shaft here. I put 2 plastic spacers on there and a new O-ring. I'm going to try and get it to where it doesn't have as much in play in there, because the less in play you do, I feel like the longer the O-rings will last, just because there's less movement inside that. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but that's just kind of my thoughts on it. Now we will get our clip. This is a shutoff clip. Goes on the throttle shaft here. Now you can see all that moves whenever I move the throttle lever back and forth. So that's shut off, that's full load or high idle. Got my low idle screw here, just putting a new O-ring on it. A little bit of grease. This goes in the top cover. I just kind of, again, preset these. So I'll have to adjust that on the stand. Got a new O-ring in this. Top cover bolts. Got our brand new return connector here. So this one actually has a check ball where the old one just had that wire sticking in there. Again, just kind of like an updated version. Have my throttle back so nothing falls out. Just like that, we are done. Got her all put back together. No real issues with it. I mean, went together pretty easy. So, ain't got any, really all I got left is his fittings and the side cover. I gotta leave that off to read his advanced movement. So, overall everything went good. I foresee that it'll run fine, but my only concern is that head. It could maybe cause me a little issue on the stand, but we won't really know until we try and run it. Got all hooked up, inlet, return, transfer pressure, advance window here, injection lines. So we will fire it up. I don't really foresee me having any issues, but you never know. Bleed some of the air out of it. Well, at least it's pumping. That's always good. Now we just gotta let it warm up a little bit before we get going too crazy here. Okay, so our transfer pressure was a little high. I got to turn this down. And then my fuel was a little low. About right there. So we will see if we can't get this straightened out. Fuel's a lot better now. I'm right at the top end of the spec. That's good. Go down and check cranking. Now we're down here at cranking speed, which is actual starting speed. And that's what I was concerned about. So, this one here, we got a problem. I'm at stock fuel, and at cranking I need 55 cc's, and I'm getting 33. So I'm way low, which we're so low to where I know that just turning it up even more won't fix it without going just way extreme. So I'm gonna have to talk to Kurt and so he can talk to Dan and see if he wants to put a head in it or find a used head, or we'll go from there. But for right now, we're on hold. Well, I got the pump back in here. I'm gonna rip this old head out, put this head in. Talked to Kurt about it. We went over it. I think he talked to Dan about it. So, you know, I'm weighing the options between a used head, another used head, and a brand new one. Of course, this one, let's say, is $500, whatever. Well, brand new one's $1,500. So, you know, it's just kind of the name of the game whenever your head doesn't make it. So, I'm gonna try and get this ripped down real quick and put that one in and get it back on the stand so I can get it back to him today. Hopefully. Shouldn't take me that long to do this. Maybe. There it went. Luckily I could leave a lot of the test stuff on since it's just going right back on. Not having very good luck with my stuff this morning. That's a 2, perfect. Yeah, which earlier in the video I, had said that I thought there was a chance where this might not make it because there is quite a bit of wear to this rotor, so it doesn't really surprise me that it didn't make cranking. Sometimes you can kind of see the writing on the wall. That's better. That's not leaking, that's good. Better than the first time around. 9/7. 81, that's actually really close to where I need to be anyway. That's perfect. I got lucky there. Cam on the correct way. This on the correct way. So far, everything's working. I would also say that, this particular problem, with the head not making cranking is honestly fairly common. I would say probably, if I was to do a rough guess, probably, 1 out of every 20 pumps. But that can vary. Sometimes we go on a streak of having a bunch of them fail, and other times you won't see one for a little while, so it just kind of depends, but it's fairly common, honestly. This thing is wanting to fight me a little bit. It always goes together fine the first time, but whenever you gotta do something like this and you gotta go back and redo it, then it likes to fight you normally. I'm really hoping this head works. If this head don't work, then we'll have to go to a brand new one. Because I honestly don't have a ton of these cores laying around. That's also another thing, Yeah, we're putting a used head in this one from a core, but my core supply isn't always the best. That spins good. Spring. Guide stud. levers. It's on there. All that looks good. This on here. And boom. Just like that, 20 minutes later, we're go back on the stand. So hopefully it'll work this time. Okay, so I got it back on, got it warmed up, so now we'll see what happens here. Fuel is right on spec, so that's good. And we'll see what cranking does. Hopefully, it'll work. If not, I'll be sick. Oh yeah. Okay, so his original head at stock fuel was getting 33 cc's at cranking, and I needed 55. Or now this head, same size head, just better looking, at the same stock fuel is making 78 cc's. So that made a world of a difference. I'll check the advance. Go and set her high idle. off is working good. The governor action's working good. Shut off works. Low speed shutoff works. Now we just got our low idle. Well, guys, we are done. That new head, well, the used head made a world of a difference. So we got our main fuel set, high idle set, advanced set. Didn't have to mess with this torque screw because it was fine. Low idle set, transfer pressure set. So overall, he's gonna be sitting pretty now. But you figure, you know, we tore it apart, found that the weight cage was just gone, no flex ring. We put a one-piece weight cage in, replaced that. His cam was going bad because it was starting to flake apart, which isn't necessarily that uncommon. I put a room stock cam in for that. It was mostly clean, so we didn't have to worry about that too much. There was a little bit of stuff on the bottom, I believe. So overall, and then of course his head didn't make cranking. So definitely needed rebuilt, definitely needed worked on. It's a good thing you brought it in since he's working on other parts of the machine. You know, this one did actually have some problems, and you can kind of see that. So overall, I'm happy with it. Should work perfect for him. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm going to send it back to Kurt.
Operation Restore Grandpa's Injection Pump has been completed. You probably followed along and saw what happened in the fuel shop, but we're going to give you just a little bit of the summary and talk about what this pump specifically needed. Relatively standard overhaul, that is, until we got to the test stand. And what we experienced was that the head and rotor inside of this pump would not make cranking fuel delivery. Head and rotor from a rotary style injection pump is kind of the heart, if you will. This is the pumping end of the injection pump. And right in here is the pumping element. So this is what actually pumps the fuel in a rotary style injection pump. As the rotor turns around and as these pumping elements encounter the ramps on the cam ring, they move in and out, and that is what actually pumps the fuel. The fuel is then distributed through the head, right? So it's pumped here, fed into the head, and distributed out the injection ports on the side of the head. And the rotor, this fit, the OD of this rotor, is extremely precisely fitted into the ID of the head. We're talking millionths, right? Hand fit. And when that wear becomes excessive, the fuel that is being pumped is allowed to bypass and not leave through the injection port. It just bypasses and goes right back into the pump. When Corey first tore down Grandpa's pump, he noted that it showed some visual signs of wear, and you can even feel some wear. Cranking delivery, when the rotor is turning slowest, when you're trying to start the engine, the cranking delivery is the hardest specification to make. And this head and rotor was worn beyond the limits of being able to calibrate the pump and effectively turn it up enough to make the cranking fuel delivery. Moline Dan is not super excited that we found out the head and rotor was a boat anchor inside of Grandpa's pump. I'm a little bit glad that it happened. Not really glad, but it gives us another thing to cover, right? So if you call us and say, I've got a Minneapolis Moline, I need the injection pump rebuilt, and it's a Roosamaster, we're going to say that roughly, on average, ballpark, sight unseen, you would expect that process to cost you perhaps $700 to $1,000. We'll give you a range, but we will also tell you that your specific price is going to be based on the specific condition of your pump. We can't tell you over the phone if your head and rotor is bad, and this is a game changer as far as the price to repair your injection pump. And now, the $1,787 question as per usual. In this situation, if we would have replaced this head and rotor with a new unit, this project would have cost $2,487. So dramatically different to put a new head and rotor in your pump. Because we are self-proclaimed lifetime hoarders of all things diesel, we happen to have some cores laying around and some head and rotors out of what is effectively a used pump, right? Pumps that we couldn't harvest the rest of the pump, or the housing was bad, or whatever, right? We've saved everything for 52 years, and we have some used head and rotors in stock. We're not necessarily interested in selling just used head and rotors. In fact, I would say we wouldn't. But if you send us a pump and your head and rotor is a boat anchor, and if we have the opportunity, we will provide a quote where you could replace with a new or a used head and rotor, right? So effectively, we're harvesting an entire additional pump core just for this one component. The used head and rotor in this pump, the repair bill was $1,787. So, if we're saying the average price is $787, a used head and rotor, or basically to buy an additional injection pump core, is $1,000. So I ramble through all that just to let you know, I think this is the first time we've encountered it on a YouTube video. We are here to be transparent and honest, open, and communicate to you what we do and why and how. And this is a kind of a new occurrence, right? This one got expensive, $1,787.91. We had the cart in front of the horse. When Moline Dan was here dropping off this pump, we went ahead and issued him his Calibration Pause Button Plaque Award. While Moline Dan is here and in our presence, we would like to take the opportunity to present him with his very, very sought after and highly regarded, prestigious major award, the Area Diesel YouTube Pause Collaboration Button. So, as you have seen, the spoof is when you catch us on another channel, you pause the video and you come check us out while we rebuild or restore their components. And then when you're done watching us, you go back and finish watching it, get installed, and get it fixed. Not as fancy and polished as the play button, right? We're hillbillies. We made it out of wood. We used some rusty plate, but it's our spoof to incentivize and reward these folks for reaching out. So, Moline Dan,
I appreciate it.
Here you are.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
That is cool. That's a heavy piece of material there. That's very nice.
It's we did not scrimp.
Very nice. I will hang that in my shop. That'll be seen on future videos.
It'll rust too. That's,
It'll rust?
It's left raw on purpose. 'Cause
Okay.
That's the type of crap we're working on. I should probably smear some of your.
Here's the spoon. When I get home, I'll put some Moline schmoo on there. How's that?
Nice.
So that'll be awesome. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Curtis. I really appreciate your help with all. This is the second pump I'm having you do, and there'll be more. So.
Yep.
I can't say I'm going to deliver every one of them though.
Pretty good drive.
Yeah. I think it's about 8 hours or better.
Yeah, well, for $25 in 2 days, UPS or somebody will get it up there. So.
Yeah, that's kind of worth that.
If you're not familiar what this plaque represents or where it came from, we'll drop you a link. You can check out the video. If you are not familiar with Moline Dan, the world's foremost authority on Minneapolis Moline agricultural equipment, please jump over there, give him a subscription, drop him a comment, tell him we sent you. If you find yourself in need of anything diesel engine related, please don't hesitate and reach out to let us know. We would appreciate an opportunity to earn your business. You can call us at 800-637-2658. You can log on to our website at areadieselservice.com, where you'll find a large amount of high quality information and the ability to chat instantly with a diesel engine expert through the button in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You can drop us an email at parts@areadiesel.com. You can stop by any of our locations in Iowa, Illinois, or Indiana. Or, for the last time, you can send us a fax at 217-854-8972 before we retire Freddie the fax machine. And the first person that drops us a fax that says Moline Dan, give us your address, give us your shirt size, and we will drop you in the mail your very own Shmoo Fighters official merchandise t-shirt representing all of the collaborations we've done since our inception. And if you don't win from Freddie the fax machine, we'll drop you a link to our swag store below. But that's enough rambling. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.